Hi everybody. This particular video is in response to some comments that I've gotten both online and in person, talking about self-defense and how the way we teach self-defense is it's life and death situation. And the comments almost always fall into the categories of frozen moments in time and what if. Frozen moments and what if are an anathema to self-defense. Okay, there's always a what if. What if Godzilla falls out of the sky? What if a meteor hits us? What if 17 gang members from LA show up in Austin and take my wife hostage? They're ridiculous, right? But what if all by itself is essentially a bankrupt concept in self-defense after the initial. Everything's what if. And the big what if is, what if you have to defend another person and it's not a life-threatening situation? What if you can't get away and you might have to defend somebody, but it's not necessarily a life-threatening situation? I can't think of one. Can you think of that situation that can't be solved the same way if it's me and not someone else? Because if it's non-lethal, I'm not fighting. I'm getting away. What if I can't get away, then someone is escalating towards lethality. If I can't get away, we're looking at something dangerous. Why aren't they letting me get away? How come I can't leave? Why are they blocking the door? And if it's something that we talk about in self-defense in domestic situations, because something absurd like, I don't want to say the wrong number. I have to look up again where I've been reading these, but it's almost 3/4 of violent altercations reported to the police involve people who know each other well. So when you're talking about domestic violence, when you're talking about spousal abuse, when you're talking about that sort of thing, that's life-threatening. People die. So you got to defend yourself. You got to defend yourself, and you should defend yourself fully. Now, if somebody's sitting there and blocking that door, and that's the only door out, but they're not going to let me leave, well, my cell phone's right here, and I am calling the police. This is 2023. I'm not saying let me out or else. I'm saying 911. I'm being blocked, and they're not letting me go. And I say, really, you're a big, strong man there, Saiji Dan. You're such a, pick your insult that is supposed to attack my masculinity there. You think that you're going to call the cops? Heck yeah, I'm calling the cops. Heck yeah, I'm calling the cops. It's 2023. I am not living a kung fu movie. So if somebody's just messing with me, I'm a grown-up. They're a grown-up. There are repercussions. I will call the police. Okay? I'll let them handle it. It's their job. Now, if it is real violence and I'm feeling threatened for my life, then we go to that next stage where I have to defend myself. It's not any different if it's another person. I have trouble imagining a scenario where it's not a lethal situation, but I still have to fight to protect somebody. I can't come up with that scenario. I can't come up with the specifics of that scenario. I can't think of one. Because if you're like, well, you're with your wife and somebody grabs your wife. Why? Why did they grab my wife? What's going on? Why was I not paying attention to the situation? Why was I not paying attention to the environment? And boy, I kind of feel sorry for the guy that grabs my wife. Not because of me, but my wife can take care of herself. So, but I get the idea. But what ifs are imaginary. They take place in this little bubble of imagination, not reality. In reality, there's environment to consider. There's the last 5 minutes leading up to this to consider. There's the street you're walking down. What time of day is it? Why are you there? Where are you going? What are you wearing? Where are you? All of that is self-defense. So unless you can give me all of that and then somehow explain to me why we weren't leaving or getting out of there and how someone putting their hands on us is not a life-threatening situation, I don't see it. I mean, I'm going to use my words to de-escalate if I can. I'm going to use my phone to call the police. I'm not fighting unless I have to. And that's so hard sometimes for people to just get around because they're like, okay, no, I totally get that. But what if? No what ifs. What ifs are as bad as frozen moments in time. And all martial artists know what the frozen moment in time is, right? He throws the punch. And now I work around this limb and this is frozen. This isn't real. Nobody throws their fist out and leaves it here. That's a frozen moment in time, right? And if I had all day to do something to you with that, I know all sorts of fancy, fun things to do to your joints. But in real life, there's no frozen moments. I have to keep moving and I have to work with whatever is presented to me. It's the same with what ifs. I honestly believe that 99% of all altercations are unnecessary. 99 might be an exaggeration. I honestly believe 95% of all altercations are unnecessary. But the 5 that are significant. You're staving off attempted murders. You're staving off somebody who's going to beat you into the hospital, which can kill you. You're staving off abuse, sexual assault, worse. Okay, that's when you fight. So I'm open to the idea of someone saying, well, here's a situation that happened. What would you do in this situation? And I will answer that question, and I'll happily answer that question. And if that question falls into that gray area of this was a non-lethal situation, but honestly, it had to be settled physically, then I will reassess what I'm saying, telling, and teaching. But I do stand by, if you're trying to restrain, you should have a partner. Because I've trained in that, and I've restrained people. I've restrained people with mental illness. I've restrained people in bars and nightclubs. And I'm telling you, it always works better in a group setting when you've got partners, because restraining somebody in real life is hard, especially because in a self-defense situation, they might have a partner. So the more tied up you get in putting them in a choke or giving them an arm bar or trying to go onto the ground and get that ankle, I hope most people don't do that, but let's suppose you do. You've got to be aware. You got to watch out for that partner. So, that's where I stand with that. I really believe that trying to say, what if you're in a non-life-threatening situation where you have to defend another person physically is a made-up idea. I don't understand that scenario. I can't see it in my head. I can't see a scenario where it's not life-threatening and I still have to fight somebody physically. And maybe that's because my definition of life-threatening is I don't want to get punched hard in the head. I don't want to get knocked to the ground. I don't want to get dropped by somebody with even a single punch. Because you sit in this industry long enough, you live in this world long enough, you train in real self-defense long enough, eventually you hear the stories that are verifiable of somebody getting punched in the face, falling down, and dying. I mean, it's happened, for real. So, if you're getting involved in a physical altercation, it is kind of life and death. I mean, you don't expect it. It could be pretty rare. Even those bar fights, somebody can fall and die. So don't fight if you don't have to. Fight if it's life and death, and if it is, maybe you want to be the one to live. I stick by that. Come up with a real scenario with real parameters that's really happened, and I'll analyze that scenario for you. I'll be happy to. If you know a video or a YouTube video, somebody talking about a fight and they have the video, show me that video. I'll be happy to analyze that video for you and tell you what I would have done or what I teach in that situation. And if we come up with something where we can see verifiably that it required a physical intervention, but it was non-lethal in an open setting, not a clinical setting, then I'll eat my words and we'll talk about it. But until then, I don't believe that happens.